A very warm welcome to all my students. Yeah, this side Chartered Accountant Ashwini Bhanushali, your tutor for ATX. I welcome you all to the second part of our mock revision, okay, of our mock papers. So students, just let me confirm whether we are audible and visible. Just give me a minute. Okay. So yeah, we are perfectly audible and visible too. So students, I am so pretty sure that you would have seen the first part of mock over here. So kindly, if you haven't seen the first part, I will request you to just see the first part in which we have analyzed about the question what it was. Okay. So today I will not be wasting more of time reading the question for sure. I'll be just showing you our Google Chrome in which we have normally taken up our questions. Yeah. So I think it's visible. So I am not going to show you again how we are going to find out the questions and all. Yeah. So we know it very well. Like this is our question which we have just read the question in the first part, and we went ahead with certain analysis of what was Olma my client. If you remember, there was a new client which I'll just brief you out. There was a new client which was named as Olma, right? And she has approached to me asking about certain questions. Like she was not so much pretty sure about the questions, so she was just asking me about 2-3 points which she was having a confusion for. So what was the concern that Olma had? So Olma had one concern about like we becoming a firm as a tax advisor for the first time. So if I am becoming a tax advisor for any of the company for the first time, I have some or the other ways the responsibility which I also need to take care of. So what are those things which I need to consider it for the first? If like any company wants to be the first time as an auditor or as a tax advisor, they also have to have a word to over the previous auditors or the previous tax consultant. Like why have they left the why have they just left the advisory towards that firm? And as per my legal and the professional ethics also, I just need to have some words. I have to keep my integrity, I have to keep my professional competency due care while accepting any audit engagements or any tax engagements, isn't it? So yeah, even that can be the first part which we have to analyze it. Up next, we have to also understand the company has purchased its own shares. Okay, so this my Olma was actually engaged as an employee in one of the hotel industry or like some restaurant. Since 2015, she has been working there. Students, if you haven't seen the question, please check it for the once. If I'm telling you, please do it. I'm not gonna repeat the question because there was a part which I have just taken it up. Then come back to this part. Okay. Then that students, we have analyzed that she was been working since 2015 till 2022. She left the employment. Once she left the employment, only then she has sold up her assets. And if an individual is selling any assets in the name of what? In the name of shares, that is giving a clear-cut idea that she is selling the shares. That means what? Come up. If an individual sells a share, it can be taxed under the income tax or maybe the CGT, capital gain taxes. So she'll be getting some benefits also about the tax. Yeah. So how an individual recognizes it, it's also important to be known. Yes. Then just a minute. Yeah. I think it's clearly visible. Okay. Then the third point which was important that we have to explain her about was the VAT registration. So if you remember, she left the employment, and once she left the employment, what was she engaged with? Yes. So she wanted her own work, like she wanted to do her own business. Own business of what? Yeah, so we know that she was thought of like, let me start my own cafe. And if she wants to start her own cafe, we know that the VAT is compulsory for certain employees or for certain businesses. When a certain exemption limit is being exceeded, like the turnover, if it's more than 85k pounds, then a company or an entity has to compulsorily get registered in value added tax. But what if it has not increased? Can a company still voluntarily do? So yes, the company can still voluntarily do registration in VAT and pay the VAT output taxes. But if you know about the question over here in this company, yes, the company has not yet exceeded the taxes for sure. But an individual is planning to get registered voluntarily. So yeah, it's acceptable. She can do it voluntary registration also and pay the taxes. Some of the company normally do get registered because they want the benefit of what? Yes, they want the benefit that they pay the taxes, they can collect and they can have the input tax credit also. But when I see this question, I am pretty sure that whatever purchases Olma has made are either zero rated or nil rated, which is she is into the cafe business. So she has purchased food which is zero rated taxed, and she has been doing the expenditure on the rentals which are exempt. So she'll not get any sort of credits. Then why have she registered? So in the question it was clearly visible that even if she don't get registered right now, like whatever she has made in assumptions in the benefits like budgeted turnover, she has to get registered either on 1st September also. So she started the business and she thought, like, when there will be a day I have to legally get registered, so why not today? Let me get registered today itself and pay the output taxes, such that the people will have a idea, oh, this company is registered in VAT. So people will have a presumption that the reputation of the company is good. So all these concepts we just analyzed it. Students, I'm summarizing the question for you guys, okay? Summarizing just the question. Okay, then we had understood about some reliefs. This is important, which I told you will definitely be there in your examination. The reliefs available in respect of trading losses of OLMA. If an individual is having some trading losses, can they adjust towards the profit of the current year or the previous year or some 4 years previous? So we need to know that. We'll understand that. Now, without any further delay, let's assume what they have asked us in the requirements. So if I see the first requirement, they have asked, okay, prepare the memorandum as requested in your mail. Okay, so see students, whenever I prepare any sort of memorandums, okay, I have to write about the details of what the things are given in the question. But when I have to make a memorandum over here also, students, my students will say that they have written the answer perfectly, but still they don't get marks. It's just because you guys are not writing the way it needs to be written. So how are we going to go ahead? Let's just start writing and developing the answer. So first, when I have to write the memorandum, I have to be a proper salutation. I have to give a proper annotation, a denotation and everything. Like I have to like write it to the max possible extent in a proper way, okay? In a proper way. So yes, we'll just start formulating the answer, okay? Just give me a minute. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll just formulate the answer. For the first, I prepare the memorandum as requested and the marks are allotted first for becoming a tax advisor. Okay, so I'll be a tax advisor and I'll start developing the answers. So over here, we have two things. Either I can do in the word processor or in the spreadsheet. I request you all to please start writing the answers in the word processor. So yeah, this is a memorandum which I have to also analyze and write the answer for. And when I'm writing any sort of answers, what will be my first scenario? I have to write question number 1, etc., the name. Then it's a memorandum. So I'll just write it over here, the memorandum. Just give me a minute. Okay, when you are presenting any answers now students, you should have a clear idea like how you are going to present it in the way it's important, okay? Memo, rend, dump. Okay, memorandum. Next to that, I have to write to whom I'm going to give. So to the files, yeah. To the files. And who is the person who is going to write from whom? From the text supplier, the text supervisor. From. So we are who, guys? We are the text supervisors. So yeah, text supervisors. And to whom are we giving it first? Over here, this is a report in which I'm taking it the consideration from the client, which is Olma. So yeah, I'm having the client, which is basically Olma. I'm going to talk about her personal tax affairs. So yeah, personal tax affairs. And the last point which I have to write about the date. So yeah, they have given the today's date is what? The first Feb. So yeah, today's date is 1/2/2023. Okay. I'll write everything in bold if you are fine with it. Everything needs to be in bold so that it will be easily analyzed. And whatever the things are there, for example, if I want to make it, I'll just make things in yellow. Okay. I'll just highlight it. And I'll make it italics if you want, or like something, so that you can get it. Okay, this is the topic. Okay, this is a topic. And I'm writing in bold, not just because you have to write in your examination. It's just because the things you can see now, it's visibly more evident. Okay. Now, what is the first answer that they have written? Becoming a tax advisor to OLMA. So, if I want to become a tax advisor to OLMA, what are the things that they have asked? So, we'll read this memorandum extract. Let's go ahead and read the memorandum extract. So, that's the reason I have not read the question now, because you will any which ways understand. Okay, in the view of the changes of the affairs, the OLMA has invited you to replace her tax. Background is what? First, OLMA has invited us to replace her tax advisor. Right now, there is an old tax advisor. She wants us to replace that advisor. So now, if I'm reporting anything, I have to report about this also. That if I want to replace any advisor, I need to have some word with that person also, because it is about the integrity and all. So what is the first question that they have printed over here? If you see, yeah, the first point, becoming a tax advisor. I have already seen an evidence from the OLMA's entity and confirm my address. Explain which matter we should consider from any actions which we have to take to agree as a tax advisor, considering my professional care, due care. So yeah, this is what I have to explain her about the answers. So students, this is what I normally write it, but it's upon you that you want to write it, you write it. Otherwise, don't copy it. Okay, I'm over here now. I'll normally copy the question. Okay, and what I do normally, I'll tell you guys. I normally delete it after understanding whatever the question is, so that I don't need to go on and just read the question again. So this is what the question was: becoming a tax advisor to OLMA. So becoming the tax advisor to OLMA was my question. So I'll not keep things as a bold. So this is my answer. Point A: becoming the tax advisor to OLMA, and I will just formulate the answer. Okay. Understood? Yes. Students, if I want to become a tax advisor to anyone, first of all, my company should have some ethics which I should follow, isn't it? So what are the ethical standards? I should keep my integrity, I should maintain my professional skepticism, my competency in accepting that, right? Along with that, when I talk to you about the ACCA ethics, I know ACCA ethics will not be just restricted with the objectivity and integrity. It is something beyond. Beyond what? Beyond that, you have to see who is my client. Yeah, who is my client? Is he earning from a viable resources, or is he entered in the money laundering stuff and all? So all these things are also to be analyzed. So yeah, without any further delay, let's just start formulating the answer, and everything I'll make it with bold so that it is clearly visible to you over the answer. So a firm will have to consider the code of ethics also to become before I accept the engagement. So a firm a firm will have to consider some ethical issues, some ethical standards, consider ethical standards prior to accepting any auditing, any tax advisor engagement. Agreed? So is it so much only? Ma'am, we have to do a lot of things. We have to also consider some facts of, we have to consider the, what facts we have to consider about the integrity of the OLMA, that company, about in facts about the company also, right? To whom I'm going to take the client as, about the integrity of OLMA, and have to keep the professional due competency and care before I accept, and I need to have due, okay, I can write it like professional competency and due care. Please ignore my spellings, huh? Before we accept any tax advises engagement. And if I'm satisfied, okay, Baba, my client is accepting all the integrity, my client is having the proper integrity, yes, and my client is having, and I am having the professional due care and competence, only then if I check it, only then if I accept it, it's fine. But if I feel that my client is not so well, then even I can deny, yeah, even I can deny. If I feel, if the ethical standards are not there, if the ethical standards are not maintained or not there or not maintained or whatever, it's not there, then we can deny the engagement too. Cool? Understood? Yes. So this is why I'm writing, it will not take me some minutes just to show you the answer what the institute has presented, but I want us to formulate the answer. I know it will take some time, but guys, highly required, highly required. Otherwise people do what, just they'll check up and just they'll like they'll audit it. Okay, I just saw this, okay, it's clear. I know. No, we need to know exactly how to formulate the answer. We also have to consider the money laundering regulations also. So an individual, we need to consider about the sources of funds from where my client has earned. It needs to be a legal sources as a legitimate source of earning. Because we need to concentrate on because of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, isn't it? Which is very important, okay, which is very important, and I know we have learned all this stuff. So before I accept anything, I have to consider this much things. Easy? Understood? So yeah, once you have written about this, you can now delete the question. So this is what was being tested. So you can delete it and make your answer look better. Okay. This is how I normally formulate the answer. And with this, I have completed my first part. Now, if you see the second part, what have they asked us? So I'll just cancel it. I'll read the second part about the requirements. So I have written okay, what I can do it about the tax advisor. Now, sale of shares of BG Limited. Okay. If I want to analyze about the sale of shares of BG Limited, let's go and read the topic what they have given us. So over here, the second point, if you remember, the following disagreements with other shareholders were there. So they wanted to go ahead and think like they want to leave the company. So when my client was working there, you remember, you should know, from 1st November, she was engaged in the employment. And till the date when she left the company, she was still there and just earning a salary of only 6,700 pounds. Yeah, nothing else. So it was the only source of income. And she has also purchased some shares. And after she left the employment, only then she sold. So what she'll be liable? She'll be liable to pay the taxes. Yeah, so she will definitely be liable to pay the taxes. But you need to know some points. So what is that? Normally, when a company sells the shares, the company has to book the whatever gains or whatever they get it, like the amount of issue. But now, when I, being an employee, am selling the shares again to the company, for company it will be a repurchase of shares, means it's a buyback of shares, right? So we know that the taxation will be given. So I have to pay the taxes on two parts, either on the income tax or on the CGT. Yes, isn't it? And if the dividend treatment will also apply. So if the CGT treatment is applied, we have to just deduct the cost. And you need to know the CGT treatment only applies if certain conditions are satisfied. Students, if you don't know this, please read the concepts and then just come up again. As it's a revisionary part, so I'll not be able to take it up in the whole. But it's obvious that we have to go ahead and read the question. Okay. Like there are certain conditions. So what are the conditions that the CGT will apply? First, whatever the person is, it needs to be a UK resident. Along with that, whatever the company's shares they have taken, it needs to be an unquoted share. Shares, and you should have the shares. You should have the shares for minimum period of 5 years along with you, right? And then again, it was understood that like buyback should not even hit that. Your holding should not be more than like 30% and should not reduce by like 25% and all. So yeah, let's read it what they have asked us. And when I have purchased the shares also. So on 1st November 2015, the company Olma has purchased 20% of the shares for £40,000. And now a situation has happened that she is able to sell on 15th October. So Olma will leave the employment on 30 September and she'll sell all her 2000 shares back to the company for £150. Okay, so 1,50,000. So there's a sale, there's an increment on 15th October. And the company had purchased its own shares, so it's a buyback, and Olma will claim the business asset disposal relief. Yeah, she'll get it in respect of the chargeable gains taxable, okay, on the sale. So fine, now we are going to explain her about the topics. So what have they asked us in the second part? Sale of the shares of BG Limited. So I normally take up this part over here till here, and then I just formulate the answer. When it is email now, so they'll be asking us, so what are the things which we are supposed to do it. Okay, so I'll go into the word processor. I have already written the answer for the first part. Now let me write it about this also. Okay, so if you can see, I normally write like that. And what then I do? So you will say, okay ma'am, then you are supposed to just make the question easy so that I can understand the question, and then I will delete the question. I'll delete the question also. So they have written that this is a sale qualified as a capital disposal, okay, and such that it gives rise to chargeable gains rather than taxable income. Okay, so it's a CGT, not income tax. Okay, Olma's shareholding in my company was clearly a substantial reduce. Okay, if it's substantial reduce, it is satisfying the criteria company. Then I can also confirm that the sale of the share was not carried out in the past to avoid the tax. Means it's in the legit form. Outline other conditions. Okay, so I have to give other conditions which must be satisfied so that I can put a CGT. Okay, so my solution will be, if I want to apply other conditions, so what are the remaining conditions which needs to be satisfied? So we know other conditions are that Olma should have the shares for 5 years. She need to be a resident in UK. That company, BJ company, needs to be an unquoted company. Okay, we can just write it. Just take and formulate the answer. So first point, other solutions. What are the other conditions? Olma's holding period. First of all, Olma should be a UK resident of the buyback. Okay, Olma should be in the UK resident. Yeah, UK resident. Yeah. When at the time of buyback. And in the question it was written, yeah, she is a UK resident only. Then that company should be what? Yeah, that company, BG company, needs to be an unquoted company, right? BG Limited. BG Limited is an unquoted company. And Olma should have the shares since last 5 years. Yeah. Olma's period of holding the shares should be at least 5 years. Should be at least for 5 years. So in case if you see, Olma has purchased the shares when Olma has purchased the 2000 shares, that is basically 20% of the shares on which date? On 1st November, if you remember the day when she just started. So 1st November 2015, and sold the shares something on December, right? Sold the shares on, like, I think December 15 December, 1st December, yeah, 15 December. So 15 12 22. So that is a clear-cut situation which terms to be more than 5 years, which terms to be more than 5 years. Yeah, please ignore my spellings now. So yeah, she can get the benefits also for this. So even that is fine. Now, buyback should always be in the interest of the company only, then it is acceptable, otherwise no. So buyback needs to be yeah, last point. Buyback needs to be in the best interest of the company and not for the tax avoidance and all. Yeah, otherwise not acceptable. In case the buyback is done and there was any disagreement, then it is a problem. But over here, everything is fine. Okay, fine. Okay, easy. Yes. So we did about the solution also. So now what will I do? I will just try to. Oh, it's going very high now. I'll just try to delete the stuff, and yeah, I'll just make it that way. So just imagine, students, 4 marks, 5 marks for getting 5 marks. It's enough. It's enough. Yeah, so in your examination, they will not see the quantity that you write. They will want to see the quality that you write. Okay, they'll be just focus on the quality that you write. Clear. And students, you can elaborate to the max extent. But over here now, I am not going into details because it's just like we just need to know the concepts right now. We just need to know the concepts right now, and we are just practicing it on the base. And if you want to see the exact answers, you can any which ways have a solution which can be there in your exam thing also. So yeah, without any further delay, let's just go towards the third part which they have asked us. So I'll just cancel it. Let's see what's the third requirement. So in the third requirement, they have analyzed. Show something about cafe business, voluntary registration of the purpose of VAT. Okay, so they want to show something about VAT. So definitely I'll be going ahead with the concepts of VAT. Okay, but for VAT, what have they given? They have given a hell lot of things. So if you see the first point, for cafe business, voluntary registration for the purpose of VAT. So what should I give the answer? Yeah, ma'am, voluntary they can register if it has more than 85,000 pounds, etc., etc., etc. No. See what they have asked us. So all these things is your admin things. Okay, all these things are your admin purpose. What they told, Olma and me, who is a tax consultant, have already discussed about the admin aspects of that. Okay, so we don't want to go ahead with the administrative stuff. No. Olma and I have already discussed about the admin part, including various schemes and penalty schemes also. Okay, so I don't want to explain them about all the stuff. Good. Explain the additional matters which we should keep into consideration so that Olma's attention is drawn to help her to understand the financial advantages and disadvantages of voluntary registration. Okay, so I need to explain that about the advantages and disadvantages of voluntary registration. So prior to that, students, if she haven't registered, for example, if she haven't registered, let's discuss it first. If she has not registered prior, so maybe in that period, she will not get the tax credits, right? Okay. If she has registered prior, so she can take the benefits out of it. Is it so? Yeah, so you will tell, okay, ma'am, she has started doing the business on 1st Jan 2023. It's there in the question. So from that day only she'll get the benefits? No. You should know two more concepts. Yes, if you are getting it, please come up. If you have purchased any goods prior to your registration, like 4 years prior, you can take the credits also. And if you have taken up any services, from the business till the date of registration, 6 months prior services also, you can take the input credits. So yes, in this question, if you remember, I'll just read the question. The voluntary registration for the purpose of VAT. As per the budgeted revenue figures, indicates that Olma will be required to register the VAT with effect from 1st September 2023. Means as per the budgeted figures, means as per the turnover which is being budgeted, now on 1st September she has to compulsorily get registered. It's over here, compulsorily she has to get registered. Give me a minute now, students. Okay, so yeah, I was just checking it up. Things are working well. Okay, budgeted revenue figures includes the Olma, indicates that the Olma will be required to register in VAT with some effects from 1st September 2023. However, depending upon the financial implications, Olma is considering that let me register it very early from the earlier date. The earlier date was on the 1st Jan when she started up her business. So if you can see which is the date when she started up. So if you can just analyze it over here. Her only income from the trading income was begun on 1st Jan 2023. Okay. So she knew that from Jan. Okay. So if you take the Jan. So from Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August. It's like September start. So like I feel like. So like 8 months are over. Only after completing the 8 months, she feel like now my turnover is exceeded. So on 1st September, let me register. But she thought, like, why to wait for 8 months? Prior to that, let me get registered. So she wants to get registered early. So if she wants to get registered early, she can claim the credits for this period also. Yes. So what they have written. So she thought, let me get registered. So Olma is considering registering voluntary at an earlier date, prior to the date. This is in order to give an impression that the cafe is more established than in reality. So just to create an illusion. Fine, it's okay. All of the supplies made by Olma's cafe business are standard rated for the purpose of VAT. Now you need to know what's the meaning of standard rated. So if you are aware of the rates, students, about the VAT, I'll just explain you. When it is value added tax now, guys, there are 3 types of things that you need to understand. Okay, when I make a purchase, I can get an input tax credit. When I make a sales, I have to pay the output tax. When I pay the output tax, over here, let's say my liability to pay the tax is 100. And if I'm getting any purchase, and on that if I have already paid the taxes, let's say that is 80. So in short, I will just have to pay to outside party only 20. I can take the net, I can take the credit. But the biggest disadvantage is that in this question, I have not taken up any of the purchase. Then why am I registering it? Just to show a better position. So that means you don't have any credit. So you are unnecessarily charging value added tax and paying it to the government. So if I'm doing this, don't you think at the end, it is something which makes my product or my food or whatever cafe expensive? Yeah. Because any which ways, the customer has to bear the taxes, right? So at the end, the customer has to pay. So customer will figure out that my food is very expensive because I'm charging taxes on that. So yeah, that can be a situation, that cannot be, but yeah, let's see. So whenever I'm saying about the taxes, a taxable person has to pay the taxes, and the tax rates can be either the standard rate. So the standard rate means no other rate, it's a standard one single rate which is given in UK, that is 20%. Yes guys, you heard it correct, it's 20%. But some of the goods are as such which the government told, no, we aren't so cruel, we will give you some relaxations. You'll be having zero rated tax. It is taxable at a rate of zero rate. There are certain things or the supplies on which there is no tax. So it's not under the purview of VAT only, which is known as exempt things. So yeah, with that overview, we'll just read it. Yeah, they have registered it in VAT earlier just to show the impressions. All the supplies made by Olma is to be paid at the rate of 20% tax, standard rate. Okay. So my output tax, my output supplies are at 20%. Whereas on 1st December, you got to know that Olma has purchased. But which date? 1st December 2022. Oh, I started my business on 1st Jan 23 and I got registered prior to 1st September. So can I take a credit? You need to know 4 years prior you can take it. Olma has purchased furnitures and equipments for the use of the cafe at the rate of £8,000, but not without tax. So yeah, we will add the tax excluding the VAT. So 20% we will add and we can take a credit because it is something like 4 years prior. No, it's within that period of the date of registration. And beyond that, some students have a confusion, so they will not take this credit also. But it is an acceptable and eligible credit which we can get it. Yeah, so the principal recurring cost. So the normal cost which a company or the cafe has is what? So the cafe has normal cost of employment cost, some salary cost they have to pay, then some food and rental expenses, okay, and the business premises. The food is zero rated tax, so she'll not be having any purchases, so she'll not be having any input tax on food for sure. No purchase, no tax, zero rated. And for rent also it's an exempt. So if you just read these 2 lines, it's a clear-cut idea that she will not be having any sort of input tax. Normally she'll not be having. But then still she wants to get registered. So it's always acceptable if you want to get registered. So yeah, this is my question which I would like to just copy and show it in the solution, and we'll be just formulating the answer. Okay. So over here about the cafe and businesses, I'll just put it over here. Olma and I have already discussed it about the admin expense, so we don't want to show anything about the administrative and penalty stuff. Explain the additional matters which we should consider about the advantages and disadvantages if she is registered prior to the actual date of registration which you are supposed to get registered at. Okay. So now we need to give some general knowledge to them. Okay, what's the general knowledge? Okay, I just want to, like, this is very small. I feel like all this stuff, it takes half of the page. Okay, so just start writing the solution. Yeah, before she gets registered, what are the advantages if she is getting registered prior? So I'll just write it, the solution. Okay, so what happened to the OLMA? If OLMA wants to get registered prior to 1st September, she can recover any input tax credit prior also, right? If OLMA wants to get registered prior to the compulsory registration date which she has, yeah, prior to the compulsory registration date of 1st September 2023, she can get registered any time from the start of business, right? From the start of the business, which is what cafe, that is basically from 1st Jan 2023 from 1 with 2023 till 30 August 2023. So that will be known as what? That is known as voluntary registration. Agreed? Yeah. And if an individual does a voluntary registration, they are also in the position to get what? The reliefs. Therefore, early the registration of VAT will allow her to claim the recoveries also earlier. So, the registration of VAT allows them to get the credit recovery early. Yeah, this is what we already know about the stuff. Now what we have to analyze it. So we know that, however, in the question we know that normally whatever purchase she is making, it's either the zero rated or nil or like exempt. Like, however, we know that, however, in the question, however, the purchases was OLMA does, the purchase what OLMA has are almost either zero rated, either 0% or zero rated, or either exempt, right? That means she does not have input tax credit, input VAT to recover, isn't it? Yeah. But if you see a normal thing, an individual has the owner has purchased some furnitures and equipments prior, so she can take maybe, right? So Olma has purchased a furniture and something like equipment, furniture and equipment for pound 8,000 excluding VAT. So we will calculate the VAT. So what is the input VAT? So input VAT is equal to 8,000 into 20%. Is it coming nearly to pound 1,600? So yeah, she can take up a credit also this much. Yes. No matter it is purchased when. Yeah. So if you see the question, yeah, Olma has purchased a VAT, but this is important. On the date prior to date of commencing the business, yeah, commencing the business, and prior to registration also, yeah, obviously, and prior to registration. But still, can I take the credit? And that is important. Okay, that is important. Yeah. So we have to write it like there is an exemption which is given. It is noted that she can also register, because VAT paid on any of the goods which I have taken up 4 years prior to registration, we can take a recovery. Again, please learn it. VAT paid, I'm just making everything bold, paid on the goods purchased prior to 4 years of registration, we can take the credit. We can take the input credits because it is available. Okay, please learn this concept. Yeah, because this is what is important. VAT paid on the goods purchased prior to 4 years of registration, we can take the input credit on it. Agreed. We get the recovery. This means that the registration, if it is done, we can get the timely recovery. Yes, cool. But what about the services? But if it's written VAT paid on the services, if it's there, any services, prior to how much? Okay, prior to only 6 months. Only 6 months of registration, only that much credit we can take. Okay, then we can claim the credit, but only 6 months. Okay, only 6 months. Please take this into view. Yes, so that shows if I have so that shows that means if any services is provided in the month of for January and February, yeah, you will not be able to take the credit. You cannot take the input credit. Agreed? Yes. I hope it's clearly visible and audible and understandable. Why guys like that? Because we registered prior to September, let's say, or before that. If I did if I would have September, this means the service is provided if the person, if Olma gets registered on the compulsory date, yeah, the compulsory date of registration, that is nothing other than on 1st September 29. Like on 1st September, if she gets registered, she can only get the credits for how much months? Just imagine, September if she gets registered, so 2 months gone any which way, so 6 months she can get registered, like she can get credit for only 6 months. So initial 2 months she'll not be able to get things. So yeah, this is a benefit which I have. I can take the registration. If I have taken a prior, I can take the registration, that also. But what is disadvantage? The biggest disadvantage is that if I'm taking up the registration, so I don't have even the credit, so obviously this is a cost. Who has to bear? Yeah, my customer has to bear. So the cost of the things will be very costly. Yeah, the cost of the goods, whatever I'm producing, is very costly, because VAT is obviously going to be added. So yeah, I'll just mention that. So what are the disadvantages? So this is a advantage. But what is the disadvantage? My disadvantage is that who is going to bear? Everything is going to be beared by my customer, and the customer have the thing. So disadvantages with Olma can face the earlier registration is that the earlier the registration is, more the cafe is expensive. The earlier the registration is, more the cafe is expensive. I hope you guys understood that. And who has to ultimately bear that? So obviously we know that ultimately who has to bear? The customer has to bear. So this makes a good, this makes the goods expensive from the customer's point of view. Means what you know that I want to say, because whatever she makes the sales, because the supplies with my company, the supplies which the cafe does is, na, which rate? is of standard rate. Yeah, standard rate, which is nothing other than 20%. So obviously she is going to be taxed at the rate of 20%. So means like on the date of actual compulsory registration, so you have to any which ways pay like charge tax. But if you are having an exemption, then why are you making your customers pay more tax? So that is a disadvantage if you enter into the compulsory register, like voluntary registration prior to the compulsory registration. So I hope you are understanding this point also. So this is what we have to just formulate the answers as such. I hope it's clear. Yeah, very easy. Pretty cool. Yes. Now we can go ahead with the most important topic, which is nothing other than the loss planning, which is there in the question. Okay, it's not allowing me to okay, go. It's okay. Last and the least point over here was about the loss planning. So let's see what they have asked us in the question. So yeah, they have asked about the cafe business, about the loss plannings. Okay, something about loss plannings I have to write, and the loss plannings are worth 14 marks. It's important, yeah. So yeah, the last point, fourth point over here turns around to be the loss plannings. Yeah, so about loss plannings, what have they asked us? So you should know, this is the most important point, most important point. So about the loss plannings, the requirements are calculate the old mass tax adjusted trading loss for the current year. Please read only the first point. Calculate the old mass tax adjusted loss for the current year. So what's the loss for the current year? Is she getting any sort of losses? I don't feel, ma'am, there is any losses. So don't judge on yourself. Read the requirements. Is there anything requirement given? So yeah, if you see the loss plannings, Olma has prepared their accounts for the first 6 months. So she has prepared on 30 June 2023. So we know the books of accounts and the income tax things are also different. And this is the first year of the business on 1st Jan 2023. So 6 months she made it. Okay, let me just go ahead and read it. Then annually to 30 June she'll prepare. Okay, she's expecting to make a loss in the first 5 months of the training, and then she wants our advice about the reliefs. So what is her profits or losses she's doing it? Oh, so this is my situation. So from Jan she's having a loss of 12k, Feb 12, March 12, April 8, May 8 and June 2. Okay, if this is a scenario, your accounting year is from Jan to December. Is this your taxable year too? Tell me yes or no. So you need to know your taxable period is from April till March. Yes. So this is your normal financial year, but we have in the income tax a fiscal year. So this is not my taxable year. No. So you will say, okay, ma'am, we have to only consider it for for only the taxable year and the fiscal year. We will only consider 20 to 23. If it's 20 to 23, my year ends by the March. So ma'am, my losses will be 12,000, 12,000, 12,000, it's 36,000. So people make mistake and just they calculate till here, till 12, 12 and 12. So Baba, this is not the situation. This is not the situation. So ma'am, why? Why it is not a situation? Because we have something else to be calculated and we take up an average for that. Average for that, whatever we do till the till the June thing, because it's for 6 months. So yes, without any further delay, I'll just first of all see what they have asked us in the question. So my first question was, okay, please calculate the tax for the current year 20 to 23. Okay. So in the word processor, I'll just type it this, calculate the tax adjusted for the current year 20 to 23. This is how I have learned it from my tutor, and I want you guys to do it the same way. So this is something we have to calculate, and they have told that they have calculated the books of account for the period of 6 months. So if they have calculated for the period of 6 months, please write what is the trading profit and losses. So my trading profit and losses for the period of the 6 months are for the period of 6 months, that is basically from Jan to June 23, are as follows. So I'll have to formulate some points like that way. Okay, so I'll just would want to have this. So some of my students now will ask me, okay ma'am, can we do like that? Can we just do these things in the spreadsheet? So from my side, it's the biggest okay, if you want to do it. I don't have any problem. But you can do one more thing, students. Try to do all this stuff in your Word only. Why? because in Word it is clearly visible. Along with that, my examiner do not go and find things. Why to make things difficult for him, right? So I'll just write whatever is given. Let's say it's the Jan, it's given. Down to that it's given Feb month, March, April, May, June. For 6 months, okay. And June. Okay, so why it is happening like that, I don't know about the May. Okay, guys, this is the months which I have allocated for myself. Okay, have they given any losses and profits? Yeah, if you see, there are a lot of losses and profits which they have given up in your question. So first of all, if you can see, I'll just open these things for you guys, so it will be very easy for you to understand. Over here, I'll just close it, show these things to you. 12, 12, 12, triple 10, 12, 8, 8, 2. Okay, for first 5 months, it's a loss of 12, 12, 12. So I'll write minus 12k. Down to that also minus 12k. Okay. Down to that also it's minus 12k. 3 times 12. Then minus 8 for 2 times. Yeah. And last time I'm having a profit of 2k. So it's okay. Good, no? So we are having this much given in the value with us. So if you now see, only this is the amount which is given to you. Oh ma'am, there is something else also. You have to consider it. Yes, students, in the books of accounts, you also have to consider some capital allowances also. So what's capital expenditure? Yeah, ma'am, you have purchased something like furnitures and all, right? Yeah, so please do that also. So yeah, it was 8,000. So I just have a capital allowances over here as my expenditure of 8,000. So minus 8. So what it is and why it is? It's a capital allowance on the equipment and furniture. So it's a capital allowances for furniture and equipment. This year I have to take for the business purpose. So if I'm considering all this stuff, am I getting any sort of now profits and losses? Yes. Now whatever I'm getting it, guys, it's my profit slash loss. So it's my trading profit slash loss. So what it is, guys? Now we have to take the trading profit slash loss. So please do the trading. Please do the calculation. So minus 12, minus 12, minus 12, minus 8, minus 8, minus 8, plus 2. So are you getting a negative of 58k? Yes. If it's so, then what will these losses be? It's a trading loss for the initial 6 months. So I have to write it as a trading loss. Trading loss for the first 6 months. Agreed? Yes. So this is the initial 6 months trading loss which I have to book it. Okay. Can I complete it over here only? But you know, Olma has started the business on 1st Jan and the first assessment year will be how much? So my period will be, basically my assessment will be till March only. So yes. So if it is till March, do you think like I'll have to consider for 6 months or only 3 months? So yes, now you have to consider only for 3 months, right? Now you have to only consider for 3 months. If your 6 months losses are 58, can you divide it? Yeah, ma'am. So we can write it Olma. Olma has started. Olma has started her business. Started her business from 1st Jan 2023, and the fiscal year ends at what? And her first assessment year. Assessment for the tax year for 22-23 turns around to be what? Yeah, only for 3 months. Only for 3 months. Can I do half? Yes, ma'am, you can do half, isn't it? So yeah, we can just do half. So if it's the half, means it's like 58,000 losses. If it is for 6 months, then what about for 3 months? Then what will be the losses for 3 months? Do the cross multiplication, na baba? Can you get like this? 58,000 into 3 by 6. So are you getting up a loss of 29,000? Loss? Yes. is a loss. Now I need to understand where to carry forward this type of losses. I hope you're getting this loss understood. Yes. Now this is a loss which I got it. Now I have to adjust the trading loss. So now over here I have to adjust. We have to adjust the trading losses. Now we have to adjust the trading losses, and that is what they have given up in the second point. Please adjust the trading losses. So whenever I'm having any losses, either I can adjust it from the current year, I can adjust it from the previous year, like I can adjust it in the last 4 years also. So for that I have to understand how many years I'm having the profits. Like, am I having any sort of profits to adjust these type of 29,000 loss? So yes, for that we have to make a column. We have to analyze it. How many losses are there? But before I go, normally my trading loss, if I'm having a normal trading loss, it can be adjusted towards the current year's income. But current year I don't have so much of income, so from where I'll adjust the loss. I can check even the previous 12 months income, or I can understand the carry forward of any income which can be analyzed. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and we'll just formulate this also question. Yeah, so we need to explain. So what is the question which is given? So let's just read the question. Second point, requirement extract. Explain with the supportive calculations I have to do how the trading loss can be adjusted against the income and chargeable gains on the assumption that she does not wish to carry forward the losses. Okay, she does not want to wish means she wants to settle up all her losses right now. Okay, cool, na? That's good. Okay, fine. With the supportive calculations, I have to find it out. Now, what are the things which is given? Is there anything else given? No, ma'am. So, we have to make understanding of what is first of all current year settlements. So, is there any loss for the current year? Or is there any profits for the current year? So, if you just analyze the stuff, it's given that. Yeah, wait a minute, huh? Wait, it's not coming up. Wait. Uh-huh. Wait, it's not coming it up over here. Yeah. So, we have to understand what is the total income in the current year. So we'll get to know when she is having a loss of like 29k. Okay, so just a minute, like she is having how much? 9,000 each month from August. So August, September, October, November, December. So like for 5 months it is that much, plus her income was 9,000 plus 4,000 minus, to take a lot of differentiations. So yeah, just a minute, huh? Okay, yeah, it's getting cut. Just give me 1 minute. Just take a break of 1 minute, huh? It's getting cut something. So yeah, there was a error which was coming up. Okay. So now I think like it is clear. Okay. Yeah. Let me just understand what the question was. So we have to explain with the calculations how the trading losses can be offset against any income. So we have to analyze. We know the concepts. If you are not aware of the concepts of adjustments, we'll just formulate it for once. So the person can always claim a relief of his losses against the income. Which income? Which he has earned in the previous 12 months. Yeah, so I'll just formulate it. Olma can claim the relief. Yeah, I'll just write it. Olma can claim the relief, the tax reliefs, where she can definitely get the reliefs by either of the way. First, she can get what, guys? She can adjust it against the 12 years, yeah, sorry, the 12 months offset against the current year's total income. She can first offset the losses against the current year's income, or she can also do one thing. She can offset against the previous 12 months, yeah, that is against the last 12 months. Offset against the last 12 months income also. Again, second, what she can do is, yeah, if she wants, she has also like she can go to first like current year 12 months and total 3 years. So last 3 years also she can do it on the FIFO basis. Yes, so she can offset the losses against the previous last 3 years. Yeah, this is important. Okay, last 3 years, which students forget to write in the FIFO basis. In the FIFO basis, first in first out basis. And that too, they have to consider one more thing, that whatever they are offsetting first, and then they have to offset the current year's total income. Only then they can go ahead. So what does that mean? If you can see how much losses she has to adjust in the cost. So today now she don't have to adjust 58,000. No. That was the total loss. She has to only adjust for the 3 months. Agreed? Yeah. So she has to only adjust it for the 3 months. So if you want, like, I'll just put it up over here, the highlights. Okay, it's not allowing me to like put it. Cool. But at least try to understand, na guys. Yeah. So maybe she can adjust only the losses of 28,000 she wants to adjust. So for adjusting that losses, what she can do? She can first of all adjust the income from the current year. So I'll just mention a thing for her, and that I can just make a table. Okay, I'll just create a table right now for us. Okay, it's not required one extra. I have just put it to the column. So what is the current year? If you want, you can just delete the table. Okay, I'll just put it again. Things can be smaller also. Okay, first, what is the current year, students? My current year is basically 22-23. Yep, fiscal year. 22-23 is the current year. So now, students, this is very important. Okay, you need to know current year. If it is 22-23, what will be my previous year? And my previous year will be 21-22. Yes. What will be my prior to that year? Okay, my prior to that year will obviously gonna be 2021. Yes. Before that, how much? What it will be, ma'am? 2019-20. Yes, because I can go ahead with how many years? 3 years. So yeah, what are the trading profits which we have to understand? Is it a loss or profits? So what is the trading losses? Trading profit, trading. So you will say, okay, ma'am, in the current year only I was supposed to do trading. I was not doing any sort of tradings in the previous years because I was not engaged in any business. So here it was zero. Now in the current year it was zero. In the current year, yeah, in the current year you have got a loss of 29,000, right? To remember for the 3 months, so ma'am, it's like less 29,000 as a loss which has been visible. Clear? Yes. Now you have to adjust this losses from your incomes. So first you can adjust the losses from your employment income. So what is your employment income? See, students, this is to be taken care very well. Okay, employment income. So can I ask you, in the current year, what is the employment income that you have earned in the current year? What's the employment income that an individual has earned in the current year? So in the current year, if you say, were you there in the employment? Yes, ma'am, I was there in the employment. Now, what is the fiscal year? What's the year? It's fiscal year. So 22, 23, from April till March. So April 22 till what amount you were there in the employment? Yes, ma'am, I was there till September. So April, May, June, July, August, September. For 6 months you were there. For 6 months you were there. So I can write it over here. For 6 months I was there. For 6 months. From April till September she was there. Yeah. So what is the amount of profit she has earned? So she has not earned profit. She has earned an income of how much? 6,700 was her salary, if you remember. Yes, from 6,700 to 6 months. Do it now. 6,700 into 6 months. So she has earned a profit of 40,200. So this is her employment income. Can she adjust the losses? Yes, ma'am. Obviously, she can adjust the losses. So this becomes a total income. The total income in the current year needs to be 4,200. Easy? Yes. This is what you should know, huh? Students, this is what you should know. Along with that, if you have any doubts, April till September, I'll just show you up. And then we can go ahead with the next year also. So, if you just can see this, what was she there in the employment? Okay. So, from 1st November, yeah, she was there, etc. She has been till 30 September. Okay. She has taken up some leaves also, but I will go ahead in the later part. So 1920, she has taken up a leave. But before I go ahead, let me just show you one stuff in the processor. In 21-22, so what's the date in 21-22? If you see, yeah, she has taken any leave? No, ma'am. From April 21 till 22, she has not taken any leaves. So from April till March, she was possibly completely there. So maybe for 12 months she has worked. If she has worked for 12 months, what is her salary? So I can say, ma'am, 6,700 into 12 months. Is it coming up to 8,400? Yes. So 8,400 is her income. Yes, cool. So 8,400 will be her income. Yes. Now, what about the previous year? In 2021, which starts from April till March, has she taken any sort of leaves? So if you see from April till March, but which April, guys? April 20 till March 21. We have to just analyze and see the questions for how many months she has got up the situations for. Please check the question. Yeah, from September 2019 till August 20. Okay, till August 20 she has taken up a leave. Till 20. So what is the date? August 20. April 20. April, May, June, July, August. 5 months she has taken leave. So how many months she has worked? So over here I can write 4. For 5 months she was on leave. So she has worked for how many months? So she worked for 7 months. So she'll get the amount for 7 months only. Yeah. So that shows how much? 6,700 into 7 months, which is her income. So what is her income? 6,700 into 7 months. Is it coming to 46,900? Yes. So in 2021, this was her income of 46,900. Got it? Yes or no? Clear? Yes. Superb? Yes. Up next, if you read this, for 1920, was there anything? Yeah, ma'am, she has started her employment on what date? Yeah. Okay. She started her employment basically in 2015 only. So is there any other things which she has to consider it of 6,700? Yeah, if you see, there was a question and I can just show you. Yeah, she has started earlier, but she has taken a leave from which date? Yeah, I'll show you. She has taken a leave from the whole year. Can you see this? On 30 September 22. Yeah, from 1st September 19. From 1st September 19. From 1st September 19. From 1st September 19, she has taken a leave till next quarter. So I will be concerned from September 19 till which date? Okay, for me, what is the date over here? It will be, what is my accounting period, guys? My accounting period will be April 19 to March 20. So she has taken from which date? From leave from which date? Leave from September 19. So September 19 till March 20 she was on leave only. September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March. For 7 months she was on leave. So she has taken a leave for how many months? 7 months. So she has worked for how many months? So she worked for 5 months only. She worked for only 5 months. So she'll get the salary for only 5 months. So 6,700 into 5. So she'll be getting the amount equivalent to how much months, guys? Only 5 months. So that comes around to be 33,500. So yes, she'll be having up an income of 33,500, which is allotted in all your stuff. So I hope you guys have understood this also. So Baba, we have to understand it very well. Okay, so this is what they have given us to calculate. So yes, now we can analyze which year I can adjust it. So either I can adjust my 29,000 loss in the current year also, previous or also, way back in the previous year also. Yes, so this is what we have to present it in the answer. And over here, if you see this, isn't it easy? But students will feel it difficult because they don't understand how to go ahead and write the answers. And students, this is seriously very easy. So you can adjust this, okay? You can adjust it. So Ulma can claim a relief. Yeah, Ulma can claim a relief, and that is which is acceptable. I hope it's clear. Yes. Super. So yes, I'll just close it up. Okay. With these now, students, we have first of all completed. Wait, it's getting closed. Yes, students, I'll just close it up. Just okay. I'll just shut down everything. Okay. So students, yes, with these now we have completed the first question, and I think it was very pretty easy and acceptable. Up next, some other questions in the next sessions. So yeah, please do watch this as a continuous video from the first part, and I hope this will be obviously useful for you guys. So yeah, study well, and for more questions will be there. So you can just check on other videos also, and that will obviously be beneficial for you. I hope you guys would have understood it. Thank you. Bye bye. If you have any doubts, just do let me know. Thank you.